We have been conditioned to believe if we are not miserable, then we're not working hard enough. We think that self improvement means adding 10 more habits to an already overflowing plate. But here's the truth: you can't optimize a life that you don't even like living. If your growth is costing you your health, your performance, your relationships, and your sanity, it is not growth. It is a slow motion crash. And today I'm showing you the holistic framework that allowed me to stop grinding and start actually living while still growing my empire. And I need you to stay until the end because I'm going to reveal one question that truly, like instantly, helps you identify if something is a good habit or if it's actually draining your like life bank account, right? So let's get into it. The more is better fallacy, like we treat our lives like a machine to be optimized rather than a person, like a human to be cared for. You are a human listening to this on the other side of the screen or the speaker, and you are not a humanoid robot for a reason. Productivity shouldn't always just be about doing more, like adding something else to your plate. It should be about feeling better while you do it. And I think that's where we get it wrong so many times. So, your health is your literal foundation. So, you are the most valuable asset to your company, to your family, to your relationships. And if that asset breaks, everything else stops. Like the physical body that we have, that we carry around, that is what allows us to do what our mind and our heart is destined to do. And if we can move from this, like, I don't have time to work out, I don't have the cognitive bandwidth not to do something. We have to shift away from looking at all the healthy things, from taking a immunity shot to prioritizing fluids and rest and sunshine and good health and realizing that it doesn't have to be like a whole entire life makeover. You don't need a 2-hour gym session every day to like make it work. Sometimes you just need a 15-minute walk to lower your cortisol levels and then be able to come back and make a really great decision. Maybe it's a $10,000 business decision or a decision about where your child's going to attend schools. But getting out of that mindset of thinking like I can push it off until later, like we can't. We can't. And so our health has to be the priority. Your health has to be a priority, the foundation on which you build everything else, or it will come crumbling down. And the second thing that hustle culture, I think, goes against is that wealth is just a number in your bank account. There is something called intentional wealth, and that is the freedom that the money buys. And the mistake that we make so many times is working harder to make more money to pay for things that you're too busy to use. Like that is not intentional wealth. Years ago, my husband and I made a decision that we were not going to buy a boat and we were not going to buy a camper and we were not going to buy a side by side and we were not going to buy a golf cart and we were not going to buy any of those toys because we didn't want to buy stuff that we were paying insurance on and storage for and a boat slip for and maintenance on and put fuel in that we weren't going to have time to use. So we intentionally rent those things once or twice a year when we actually want to use them. Now, it may seem more expensive for a one-time rental than a monthly payment, but that monthly payment over 5, 6, 10, 15 years plus interest plus maintenance is much more intentional purchase for the enjoyment of our family versus always being obligated to pay for something. So you can truly use your profit, use your income, use your salary to buy back your time first, and then you can buy that stuff. Because otherwise, if you aren't able to hire people and to scale a team, to hire an assistant, to hire a housekeeper for your house because you're obligated to all of these monthly payments, you are not being intentional about building your wealth and you are not being intentional about how you're using your time. And that creates chaos. And that leads us right back into that hustle fallacy that we get so sucked into in the United States. I mean, I'm sure like other places as well, but I feel like it's a huge issue in the United States. And the third thing is the mindset shift of what is enough. right? So high achievers struggle, me included, with the concept of enough. We're always wired for what's next. So instead of looking at what we have as being enough, like this is working, this is enough, we're always thinking about what's next, what's coming next, what's going to come up next. And there's at some point you have to learn to set success boundaries. So defining what a win looks like, naming those wins on a regular basis, and then not moving that goalpost at 9 p.m. or maybe it's 6 p.m. or maybe it's 5 p.m. so that you can go to your child's soccer game. So you can sit down with an important person in your life and have a glass of wine or have dinner or play a board game. Because at some point, if you become so addicted to that race, to that challenge, that constant, when will it ever be enough? Will your life ever be enough? Will the success ever be enough? And then all you have to look back on is missed time. And so I think that those three things are really important in being able to build and sustain a more holistic approach to life. You can still be a high achiever. You can still want great things for your life, but you can be intentional and mindful about them instead of it being an at all cost mentality. And if you are in a place where you have you've built something, you're proud of it, but you don't really know like what next looks like or how to get out of this craziness, subscribe to our weekly emails that are linked in the show notes that we're launching this year in 2026. And you will be able to get some great doses of struggles and wins and encouragements in your inbox every week so that you will feel less alone in this journey. And I promised you at the beginning, I was going to give you the one question that can truly help you audit your life and change things. And this is it. Write it down, put it in an audio note, press pause and rewind. But here's the question. For every habit or task on your list, ask yourself this: does this provide me with energy, or does it require energy I don't have? Your energy has limits, just like your time and just like your money. But in order to have a more holistic approach to life, we have to protect that energy. So if your 5 a.m. Workout class is making you a zombie for your 10 a.m. meeting, then that might be a bad habit for this current season of life. You might need to think about having more energy and doing a lower impact lunch break walk versus hitting that hardcore, cycling class or HIIT class first thing in the morning. Because holistic improvement is about synergy, not just checking boxes, being able to maintain balance over the long term. There are going to be days that are heavy. There are going to be seasons that are heavy. But if over time you have a life that you love, that you are continuing to reflect on and to be intentional about, that is what brings pure joy over the long term. And I mean, I hesitate to say like happiness. Happiness can be fleeting, right? But I feel like joy is enduring and everlasting because you were not born to be a productivity machine. What? Right? I know we're not robots. You were born to be the architect of your life, a life that you actually can enjoy. So stop trying to like outwork your unhappiness and start building a foundation that can hold your future and a future that's filled with joy.